The leaks were real. FM26 has a tactical revolution. In and out possession tactics are coming, at least that's what I assume we can gather from this teaser tweet that says, anyone in for some FM26 tactical news? Stay tuned to find out, in bold, more. They have just dropped a 30-second video on X. A brand new blog post to go through. Look at the title. Look at the title. And as if that wasn't enough, there's a 4-minute video on YouTube we're going to watch together. I'm rather excited. Now, of course, we have been reacting and doing videos on every little bit of FM news that's been dropped over the last month, and I think this is the most exciting for me. We did a video covering potential leaks, and in that, we talked about the in and out possession roles leak that happened a few months ago now. That seems to be confirmed, and I feel like I'm hoping now that all this announcement stuff is going to kind of live up to my expectations. To kick off, we'll dive into this video over on X. It's only 30 seconds long. It's a social media cut, but presumably we're going to get our first look at some tactical stuff here. The tactical revolution arrives. I hope so. And this, let me tell you that, this could be game-changing. In and out possession formations, sorry, go back. So we've got an out of possession shape at the bottom and an in possession shape at the top. So you can see here, they're playing a 4-1-4-1, but then when they have the ball, it's a 3-2-4-1 or 3-2-5. Oh, this is what I want to see. We've got a poacher up front, an advanced playmaker and a winger. WFD, wide forward? Wide centre-back, ball covering centre-back? Ball playing centre-back? I'm not sure. You know what? I'm sure we're going to find out more about this in a moment. Redefined player roles. Look, get me excited. In clearer instructions, I kind of like those icons. They look interesting. Smarter AI. Okay, let's be honest. Every year, Football Manager says that AI's got smarter. Maybe this is the year it's true. Change the tactics, change the game. Okay. You know what? That told me literally nothing. Get me to the YouTube video. Okay, this looks like it's going to be a more sit-downy, personable video. These are the kind of videos I'd rather Football Manager do. I'm hoping we get shown some gameplay. We've still not really been shown uninterrupted gameplay. We've got a couple of guys from the Match Engine team. Jack in the middle here. I've had many a conversation with over there. Lovely bloke. Very wise. So I'm interested to hear what he's got to say in this video.
We now have, obviously, the two formations that we're going to put into the game, and you have a in-possession screen and out-of-possession screen, so you can see how your formation looks in one area of the game and then how it looks in the other, because now you have control of both. So it is literally, you have an in and out possession shape. I assume there's going to be some limitations here, so you can't have a centre-back that goes and plays as a striker when you have the ball. This is exciting. Is anyone else terrified people are going to absolutely break it with some mental tactics? I feel like there's potential for that with this system.
In and out of possession tactics.
Okay, pause here. In and out possession tactics are here. We've got a little match day lineup graphic from the Premier League. That looks really, really clean. And then we've got like a little drawer here. It looks like a visualization of your team without possession. Or is this in? No, it looks like we're out of possession is selected here. And we've also got the tactics right here. You know what? I'm sure we're going to see some of this. Do I like this? This is the new tactics screen, everyone. Do you like it? I don't know if I like it. Like, you can only see, like, 14 players in a list on the right. That feels like limited information. It does look like here, like, they've got both selected, so it's both pitches side by side. So you can, like, just look at one or the other at a time. There's definitely some new roles going on here, though. What role is Foden playing as here? TWM? I don't know, tracking? Wide midfielder, maybe? I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, looking at this example here, this is not like the most radical change in shape, but even if you run like a basic 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 now, you are at least going to be able to kind of change and have a bit more variety with how you set up without the ball with that shape. You know, you could leave your wide attacking mids higher up the pitch, or you could just drop them back into kind of two lines of four with a DM in between like they've got here.
I am absolutely hyped.
I'm hyped too.
You're as excited as I am.
I'm hyped too.
Absolutely. Couldn't be more excited about this feature. Most importantly is what the FM community have wanted for a number of years, so I'm so delighted to have this feature.
Wanted this for a long time.
I think me and the FM community and all the new players will be thinking, how does this come to life?
Well, we now have
Tell me more,
two
Jack.
formations
Tell me more, Jack.
The game, and you have a in-possession screen and out-of-possession screen.
Okay, so you do have like two separate screens here, so you can get a bit more information width-wise on the tactics screen. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't look like that much of a revolution. I don't like the shade of green. Is that a nitpick? I don't like this shade of green. Doesn't look like grass
in one area of the game, and then how it looks in the other.
I'm just
going to control
nitpick.
it.
I hope that's
this
okay.
Such an important feature to actually bring in.
I think there's sort of two answers to that. I think the first thing is, we look at real football. If people want to recreate their real life managers and create their tactics, you need to have that in possession, out possession split to correctly, replicate what they're doing. And I think the second part is a more practical part, where, for example, in FM24, if you created a tactic and you had like a winger in a 4-3-3 and you wanted to move him to attacking midfield for an in-possession reason, you couldn't do that without affecting how we defended. Whereas now, with our in-possession and out-of-possession formations, you can make that change for an in-possession reason without it affecting out-of-possession.
That is the holy grail, isn't it? This just gives us more options. I think there's probably going to be less player roles. If I was going to guess that, like, tactical roles are going to be more limited, because the way Football Manager worked before, what you saw on the tactics screen was, hey, this is what we look like when we don't have the ball, and then roles dictated where players moved when you advance the ball up the pitch. There's so many more options now. This is really, really exciting. And obviously, positional rotations came in for FM24, and I don't think enough people kind of explored what they actually meant for the game. I think you're going to be forced to explore it with this update here.
That makes me think. Player roles are going to change too.
Completely changed. Player roles are now split between in
okay, so there's new in and out of possession roles.
In possession formation.
For our in possession formations, we have some new roles and some roles that have been reworked. So there's like a free role roam, which I assume is for a centre attacking mid, and then you've got channel midfielder, second striker. Also, is it just me, or is this like player profile screen starting to grow on anyone else? I wasn't sure about it to begin with. I actually think I kind of like it now. I don't know if that's blasphemous. So Rico Lewis here, you've got playmaking wing back. Oh, that's going to be a really fun role. If you get like a crazy regen who's a winger and you train them to play further back, like being able to play them as like a Trent Alexander-Arnold kind of playmakery player is going to be so fun. I like that a lot. Oh, out of possession roles for Doku. So we've got winger, tracking winger, wide outlet, and inside outlet. So I assume the outlet roles, like they'll just sit higher up the pitch and try to find space for a potential counter-attack. And tracking winger, I think I was right thinking that T on that wide kind of screenshot is for a tracking player, so they're going to kind of man-mark a fullback potentially. Then you've just got winger. So there's not loads of roles for out of possession, but I almost feel like there doesn't need to be, because there was never roles for it before.
The biggest things for me is you can have two identical formations in possession for two different teams, but the roles and how they behave out of possession will make it.
That's so true. So like you can play a 4-3-3 both in and out of possession, but just by changing the defensive roles, like how your team behave without the ball in, if the shape's similar, how they react to the opposition is going to be different.
How does that differ then between the two?
So if you have an example of a top team, you're the favourite to win the game, and you're playing a 4-3-3 and you have an advanced playmaker, you might want them to be a presser out of possession, win the ball high, try and get...
I'm just sat nodding. Normally with these videos, I'm like pausing. Here I'm just nodding going, tell me more. Because this is what I want to hear. So if you're a favourite team, you can have like really pressing attacking midfielder roles in a 4-3-3. If you're more defensive, you can just tell your players to track back.
If you're an underdog team and you're playing a 4-3-3 out of possession, you might want to have an advanced playmaker.
Like tactics just haven't changed enough in Football Manager in a while. And now we've got these new options. So out of possession roles here for a centre mid. You've got screening central midfielder that holds position and is more cautious. So there's these new. We're gonna have to learn all these new roles. Wide covering central midfielder. I guess that's if you've got a winger who like presses high up the pitch, or maybe they're sitting up for a counter attack. You can have like a player cover behind it, or you can have them as a pressing centre mid or just a centre mid. There's no attack support. Defend, but it seems like from the roles that we can see here,
have them as a screener to maybe
they're
sit
kind of just bundled in with the roles,
dangerous areas of space,
which is fun.
Both phases in mind, then how are you able to actually
mental
see
formations, aren't they?
So what we've introduced this year is something called the visualizer.
I think we saw that. I think I saw that at the start. It looked cool,
and it will show you how your formation is looking in each phase.
Oh, this is cool. This is cool. So they've got their team set up in possession here, and it kind of shows you how the team's set up. I assume this is when you're in your own third. How it's set up.
So it will show you in your own third, in the middle third, and in the final third. And
that's so good. So if you're a new player coming to the game and you're trying to work out how your players are going to be positioned, you can now actually see it. So like this is obviously a 4-2-4, but presumably if like Gonzalez, I don't know, was a more attacking midfielder or maybe a shadow striker further at the pitch, he would like become part of a front five. So, like, when you're trying to work out how players are going to rotate based on that their roles, that's going to be really useful. I know last year there was, like, a lot of confusion with something like a regista versus a roaming playmaker in terms of how they position themselves. I haven't seen the Regista role in the game, so it might be dead. But with that example now, presumably on this screen where you can see kind of at different phases of play, you can actually see how those two roles would differ by changing them on the team shape screen, coming to this screen here and then going, oh, that's the difference that this role I've switched to has. It also looks like, based on the part of the pitch you've got selected, maybe instructions in context of that are what's shown. And also, it seems like you can also say what flank you're on. So if you're playing like asymmetric roles, you can click final third on the left side and it'll look different to final third on the right side. I mean, this looks cool. I think there's a lot of visual noise going on here. Like, it looks like we've almost got the instructions twice. And I don't know how I feel about this. I kind of miss the old visual element of FM24 with, you know, the team instructions where, like, you could kind of see what you're doing. So if you want to distribute it to the centre-backs, you'd click on a centre-back position on a pitch. It looks like here. Oh, please tell me you've not got to click into these buttons. If I have to click into this to change the instruction, I might cry. Okay, that's a little bit of a down note, but the actual tools at our disposal look really, really good.
We've got in possession, we've got out of possession, we've got transition. Really good. I'm guessing that's going to have a change as well.
Attacking transition and defensive transition, they've moved into the respective areas.
Okay, so it used to be, what did it used to be? In possession instructions, out of possession, and then in transition. It's now just in possession and out of possession instructions. Loads of options here. Are there any new options here? Is there new options? I think this is all what we've had before, which, I mean, maybe there was enough options before. Oh, is that build-up strategy play through press? So maybe you can have it like unbalanced, and then what would the other be? Like through, well, beyond press, around the press, build up the play? That seems different. The rest seem like what we've seen before, which is a bit unfortunate, but I mean, to be fair, there was already quite a lot of options in FM in terms of instructions. And I don't know if we needed more this year. Oh, out of possession instructions as well here, just to go back a second. So this looks the same as what we've had. I don't think there's anything new going on here. Pressing trap, that's just going to be like press wide or press inside, isn't it? So no new instructions this year. I know some people are going to be disappointed about that.
For the first time. I'm hyped, obviously, just picked it up, but I'm thinking, how accessible are these?
That is actually a really good question. Because this could get kind of complicated and weird.
Feature was to make it accessible for someone a first time looking at a tactics board, first time playing the game.
I hope there's good presets this year. I think that could be useful to give people an idea of how to play.
Knows what their in possession and out of possession formations are going to be.
Are there any tools available for that?
Yeah, so you can pick your team in possession, and then your assistant will help you pick your out of possession formation.
That's kind of cool. So if you're new to the game, like, so obviously, oh, this is what we're used to, right? In terms of the different styles of play. But when you pick one, like, you then get suggested, once you pick your in-possession formation, some other shapes you could play. That's cool. I kind of want to get hands-on and just play with it. I wish we were getting shown just more someone playing with it and then some examples of how the shapes vary in the actual match engine. That's a bit of a shame if we're not going to see that. I don't think we're going to see it. There's not long left in this video.
All of the team instructions in-game, if you want to make a change, every time you see something go wrong with your defenders, you want to change a formation or change maybe just the player role. You can do all of these things now, which you couldn't do before.
I'm excited for this. That's the video. That ended very abruptly. I wish we got shown some visual examples in the match engine kind of showing the two shapes. But that has me hopeful. And alongside that video, there was also a blog dropped. Football Manager love their blogs for like these kind of meaty features. So sometimes there is some new stuff here. So you can see here, as the game has evolved, so has Football Manager. Behind the scenes, we've spent years working with leading football experts to bring one of the sport's biggest tactical developments, distinct formations when your team are in and out of possession. Obviously, we've just watched this video here. Give me more of the details. They do talk here about how the setup flow is going to be familiar. It is pretty much the exact same. We can see here a list of different formations that you could pick from. To be fair, there's no mental formations here. So you pick a formation and then your assistant will suggest some as a response to that. Presumably the ones with thumbs up here are recommended based on the style that you picked before. So they do talk here about the new menu and how there's the 4 new views. You can have the combined view. I guess this is like an average of your team shape with and without the ball. There's in possession, out possession, and then both. So both was the side-by-side view. I am a little bit concerned here that you can't see like that many players in the list. Maybe that's the resolution this screenshot was captured at. But the fact you can only see the first 11 players and then the first 4 subs. Admittedly, the subs like are shown at the bottom of the screen here. I don't like that. And hopefully this view is going to be customizable. Like, there's a drop down here, so presumably it will be. Besides the actual announcement of the in and out of possession role kind of changes, this actually excites me the most, the visualizer, where you're going to be able to see the roles through the visualizer and kind of click on the pitch to see different phases of play and how your team will be shaped in those different phases. So it says here that the pitch is divided into 9 parts. So we have the final third in progression and build-up, and then you can obviously select left, centre, or right. And we have here this example here. I am very concerned about these in possession and out possession, like team instruction things. Like, if we have to click into these to change them, that's going to drive me insane. I'm hoping there's like a little selector or something on these. And if there's not, I'm going to get really cross-clicking a lot. I can already feel it. I do like, by the way, how we have the next opposition report here. So if you want to see your next opposition, you can just click here, presumably, to see it. And also, you've got your data hub. So whoever's playing as Man City here is just dominating the league and has completely broken the graph. Each player role is displayed in the visualizer, giving you a clearer picture on how positioning and behaviour shift as play moves through each phase. That's great. I feel like for new players especially, in the past you'd have to almost pick a role and then work out how it positioned itself. Now you don't have to go into a game to kind of understand roles, and especially with all the new roles it seems like they're adding, that's going to be really, really useful. And they've got an example here of an in-possession setup. Nico O'Reilly is deployed as an inside wing-back when the team have the ball deeper in their own half, and he'll initially take up a traditional left-back position, so we can see him here as an inverted wing-back. And then as the ball moves up the pitch, it shows how he will then tuck in alongside Rodri and how the rest of the team changes shape. I think for explaining tactics in YouTube videos and for just understanding this new system, this was almost essential to do. But this stuff looks really, really cool. It doesn't look that drastically different in terms of the interface to what we're used to. It feels like Football Manager to me. Maybe that's just because of the tactics bar bit at the top with the different formations. I do also like how you have the familiarity and intensity in the top right. I feel like that's information that was a bit hidden before. And they also say the same principle applies to out of possession. Take Brighton, for example, with Baleba, deployed as a pressing defensive midfielder in a settled defensive shape. He holds his usual position at the base of midfield. Once the team presses high in the final third, his role pushes him further forward to actively support the press. So this is how Brighton are set up when they have the ball deep in their own half. So Rutter here is an OCF. What's that going to be? An outlet centre forward? We've seen the word outlet used a few times, so I think that'll be an outlet centre forward. And Baleba's this pressing centre mid. And then if they're pressing higher at the pitch, he goes slightly further forward. I feel like that's not the best visual example, but I can kind of see what they're going for here. I think for roles that more radically involve kind of rotation, stuff like a libero, inverted wing-back's probably the best example. Maybe like an advanced playmaker on attack or a centre mid on attack. I say on attack, doesn't exist anymore, but presumably there'll be something akin to those roles to make a centre mid push into the final third, which I really, really like the look of. Okay, so player roles evolved. To support the new addition of in and out of possession formations, there's an overhaul to player roles. You may have already noticed some of these roles. We have spotted some of those Football Manager. You did also leak them on your website, but you're not going to admit that here. It's time to say goodbye to the Mazzala and Gonchen Trequartista. Does that mean that the Regista's living? Probably not. I think they've got rid of all the continental ones here, haven't they? It's a bit political, Football Manager. Get rid of all the continental roles. We need all the English roles. So have new functionality like the inside forward. What have they done with the inside forward? And also, there's some new roles here. So no-nonsense goalkeeper, a ball-playing goalkeeper, overlapping centre-backs. I guess that's going to be like a wide centre-back, but even more attacking. Advanced wing-back and playmaking wing-back. Midfield playmaker. I assume some of these are kind of slightly reworked or taking, for example, maybe advanced playmaker on support is now just an advanced playmaker, and a playmaker that's on attack just has a different name. Maybe. I mean, it says these are new, so what would I know? Wide central midfielder, like that just sounds like a Mazzala, but you made it an English name. But obviously, we'll find out when we have the game. Wide forward and channel forward. Now, I assume wide forward is going to be in the wide area. Very interested how that differs to an inside forward, personally. I do like this, by the way. So they're changing the role for their left back. I hope you don't have to always click into a card like this to change the role. But we can actually see here, there's all the different options, but it also shows on the pitch itself kind of how that player's going to position themselves, which I think is kind of a useful thing to have. They talk about all these new in-possession roles, and then the fact there's an entirely new set of out-of-possession roles shaping how your players will operate, and they're not going to spoil the list here. So you'll have to buy the game to find out. And of course, if you are going to buy the game, you can do it via today's sponsor. Football Manager 26 is nearly here, and with Fanatical, a Sega-approved retailer, you can pre-order for cheaper than Steam or Epic Games. Just hit the link down below or on screen and lock in your discount using the code WTS, plus get that early beta access. The deal runs all the way to launch, so don't miss it, and thanks to those of you that have used it for supporting the channel. Now let's get back to the video. Who doesn't love a flawless segue? Anyway, back to the blog. If you have pre-ordered the game via my link, I appreciate you. A player's suitability for out-of-possession roles depends on two things: their positional familiarity and their key attributes for the role. So it seems like out-of-possession roles are going to have attributes that are important to them. Is this going to mean that more versatile players are more important in Football Manager? Because if you want, say, a wing-back who moves into a wide midfielder role when you have the ball, they're going to be able to have to play right wing back and right mid, for example. That could be interesting. I wonder if they're going to reevaluate players' positions that they can play in Football Manager because of this. Because these roles link seamlessly into areas like training and transfers, the impact will shape your next manager experience beyond the match day too. Oh, okay, so you'll be able to train players in roles? Oh, do you have to train them in an out of possession role? Does that mean you can train them in two positions at once? Like, could I train a player, I don't know, at whatever a defensive wide attacking mid role is? A winger is their out of possession role. We saw that before. And then when they have the ball, I want them to play central, like as a shadow striker. That could be interesting if a player can learn two positions at once. Duties are dead, everyone. They confirm it here. They've said goodbye. Although, to be honest, duties were kind of a band-aid way in some form of having in possession and out of possession formations. It just kind of wasn't needed, was it? They've also stripped back the number of hard-coded instructions tied to each role, which means you have more freedom than ever to customize. They did do some changes like that last year. I think for FM24 they made it so inside forwards could play wider or start wider. I don't think they could run wide with the ball, but you could actually tell them to go wider. So little options like that, if that allows us to fill the gap that duties gone from the game leaves, that's great. Now, we did cover this in a previous video, but FM26 has rewritten their pass risk assessment, and they're talking here about how they've improved the AI, which is great. You can see here, players with kind of better passing attributes are going to show greater creativity to bypass defenders. I discussed this before. You don't see enough passes in Football Manager where you go, oh, and you know that no other player on the pitch could have pulled off that pass, but your boy with 20 passing can do it. I'm hoping that's going to be something that we see. They say here that passing patterns are going to feel sharper, smarter, and more varied than ever. Football Manager always gets a little bit formulaic. You know, once you've played the match engine for months, you kind of know what to expect. So anything that stops that happening quite so quickly is good in my eyes. Dribbling has taken a big step forward. Players can now stand up their marker and bait them into a challenge and then burst past them at the right moment. We didn't. This is great, right? And we've kind of seen this in some of the match day videos they've shown, but there's no, from what we've seen, skill move animations or improved massively dribbling animations to kind of reflect this. And it did look a little bit janky in the examples they showed. I kind of like this idea of baiting players into a challenge, but I am going to get really triggered if you have a winger who's quick, right? But he's against a quicker fullback. And in the match engine's calculations, he does a skill move or, stands up the man and runs past him. But in the match engine, it just looks like the wing-back's running in treacle. I can see that being a frustration already if that's something that happens. Inside-footed players cut inside more naturally. I mean, that's cool, If you have an inside forward who's right-footed and you're playing them on the right-hand side, I think they should still be able to play that role to a degree. But their behaviour should probably change versus if they were left-footed, where they're obviously going to look to cut inside more often. If that's what that's implying, that's really cool. FM26 also delivers a wave of attacking upgrades. Midfielders now time half-space runs far more intelligently to support wide players. That's cool. Forwards are more sharper at executing cutback opportunities from dangerous crossing positions. And they've also introduced a brand new team instruction, pass to feet. So before you used to have pass into space, didn't you? And you could turn that on or off. We're discussing new instructions. We didn't see this one before. So if you are looking to retain the ball more, and maybe you've not got the most mobile of teams, that instruction could be really, really good. Team structures and pressing shapes have been redefined across the pitch, while interception logic has been reworked so defenders can stretch a lunge and improvise more to effectively win the ball. Goalkeepers, meanwhile, feel more dependable than ever. I will believe that when I see it, Football Manager. You tell me every year you made the goalkeepers better. They still stand like bloody trees, half the goals that go past them. And they do claim it. That's just the start. There'll be more you appreciate once you're in the dugout. I'll be the one who decides that. And also, we do have this graphic here of the lineups pre-match. With all the Premier League graphics and stuff, this looks really good. Like, when I'm doing Parks to Prem this year and we reach the Premier League, it's going to feel like a bloody occasion, isn't it? I did not appreciate how big this blog was. Team instructions revamped. To the right of the visualizer, you'll notice another area that's been revamped, our display of team instructions. Now, can I be honest with you? I think this is a downgrade. Does anyone else agree? Like, it used to be that when you changed your instructions, you could see all the options available to you, like, even if you didn't have them selected. But now you just kind of have these buttons. Like, if I have to click into these to change all of them, I'm going to go bloody insane. This scares me a little bit. Of everything we've seen with the game so far, this feels very console-fied. Like, I can see how with a controller, clicking in and out of these is probably fluid. But on a keyboard and mouse... They didn't really show us how these change either, did they, in the video? Which also scares me. It does say that they'll only display instructions in the areas relevant to the third of the pitch you're focusing on. So when you're actually building your tactic, you can kind of click in the build-up phase, progression phase, and final third to change the instructions with and without the ball. Maybe that will help a little bit, but I'm not convinced. The icons look pretty. I think the functionality is going to be garbage. Although, if when you're changing the instructions, the visualizer changes, which it does say in the blog that will be a thing that happens, maybe it's useful. I feel like the visualizer is way better for the roles. I feel like with instructions, you kind of know what to expect from the changes you're making. And they do touch upon here the fact that there's a direct link to the data hub now and opposition reports. I think that's a really, really good change. I feel like people forget the data hub exists in Football Manager and kind of make it a little bit more in your face and accessible. I think can only be a good thing. And I think that is it for the blog. Yeah, look, there's a load of marketing yap here at the bottom. The game's out on the 4th of November. Of course, if you're pre-ordering on PC, you'll get access up to 2 weeks before, which I think we should be looking forward to, because this feels like it's going to be very different. I think my biggest concerns, having seen all of this, is the limited number of players you can actually see on this screen here. Like, the fact you can only see 4 subs is bad. And if that's how it looks at, like, the resolution I play the game, I'm going to be a bit miffed. Like, the UI just feels a little bit big in parts. And I do also just feel like this display of instructions where we've lost the visual elements that made things good is just a shame. Like, the fact that with, like, something like distribution, you clicked on the pitch to where you wanted the ball to be distributed to versus whatever this is. I'm hoping you don't have to click into each of these to change them, and there's, like, just a toggle, I guess it would have to be, that you slide through. But this, to me, options are great. The icons are nice. I think functionality-wise, it's not going to be good to use. And I know what some people are going to be thinking. Jack, there's going to be custom skins. Look, the game has been rebuilt in Unity. I make, if not the most popular skin for Football Manager, one of the most popular kind of skins in Football Manager in TCS, which I make with Blues Till I Die. Tom, we've been making it for years. It's one of the most downloaded skins. You guys love it. We've both kind of looked into Unity and how possible we think skinning's going to be. There is next to no chance there's going to be skins dropping early on. It's a whole new game. We're losing like 20 years of knowledge on how skinning works. And if you're thinking that skins are just going to fix stuff like this overnight, I've got bad news for you. I've got to say that I don't want to end exclusively on a bad note, because I actually think this visualizer for changing your shape and kind of how players move is going to be really useful, just for new players especially. But if you're properly cooking with your tactic and trying something bonkers, at least the game telling you, hey, this is what is hopefully going to happen when you have the ball. I think that is a good thing. And overall, I don't hate the layout as much as I thought I might. Like, the actual tactic screen looks okay. I just wish we'd seen more interacting with it in the video. There was lots of images and flashy moving stuff. At this point, I just want to see someone play in this version of Football Manager for like 30 minutes. So I can have a better idea of what does the game actually feel like to play. Because motion graphics and pretty images and stuff, like, they can be a little bit deceptive. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts on this Football Manager announcement and what we've seen so far. If you're new to my channel, make sure to be subscribed to keep up to date with Football Manager news. And if you want to check out my previous videos, where we covered all the features that have already been revealed, and I even did a video covering leaks and rumours and stuff, which was confirmed in this video, that can also be found on screen right now. I'll be back with more FM26 news as it drops. Appreciate you all watching as always. Until the next one, take things easy. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm out.